Welcome to my channel, friends. I'm Anuradha, and in with this tutorial we'll be starting our machine learning series. And particularly in this tutorial I'll be talking about what is machine learning in a very raw or layman term. And let's just collect what is machine learning all about with the help of simple example. And let's just say, assume that you have a pet dog. You get a new pet dog and you want to train that dog, that when you say ball, okay, when you say ball, it goes and catches ball, okay, any ball. And whenever you say bone, it goes and catches bone, right? Now definitely you need to train this dog with the help of examples first. So you show Buddy different balls, okay, different balls, and Buddy and also and tells that this particular object is ball. Again, you show Buddy different bones, and you tell Buddy that these are bones, right? So Buddy, during these multiple training sessions, identifies the pattern. And the pattern which Buddy identifies is that whenever an object is round, it is a ball, and whenever it is elongated, it is bone. Okay? And now, once Buddy is done with the training, you show Bunny an unseen object which Bunny has not seen before. And Bunny, from its previous training, knows that this object is round, and Buddy classifies it into ball. So when you say ball and this object is lying, Buddy will pick this object, right? And this is what is supervised machine learning all about. It's a real world problem which we might be looking to solve from the help of supervised machine learning. Could be classifying a mail into spam or not spam, classifying whether a visiting customer will turn into a paying customer, whether particular transaction is a fraud or not. Let's also see an example how we may provide data in a supervised machine learning. So this is the simplest example where we are providing data to the model with the help of some source. Now how we will convert it into readable format, that we will see in which could be absorbed by a model. We'll see when we'll be doing projects. But to start with, if you look at this Excel, we have a category and we have a message. Category is ham, a spam. So we know there are two categories, and then there is message. We feed model with this training data, and if you look at it closely, there can be patterns where a model can identify, yeah, this mail which is spam contains certain words specifically related to conditions or price or something like that, right? And it will identify those patterns. And now when a new mail comes, right, which is an unseen data, based on the learning of its pattern, that model will classify whether a new mail which is arriving is a spam or ham. So the real world problem can go beyond classifying particular text or anything into more than one classes. They can belong to not more than one classes. There can be different labels which can be more than two. Like spam and ham are just two labels. But when we are going to classify news, it fall into the category of social, it can fall into the category of political, or it can be falling into the category of trends. Similarly, sentimental analysis problem can classify a sentiment into positive, negative, or neutral. Song genre can classify into rock, jazz, classical, or a hand digit identification problem where we need to classify given text into a number from 0 to 9, right? So these are the problems which are again supervised learning problems of classification, and these are multi-class classification problems. So this was an example of supervised machine learning. Now let's talk about another kind of machine learning, and we'll Take example of Buddy again. I know it is too much to expect from a dog, but let's imagine you bring home a basket filled with various toys, and this time you don't label them or tell Buddy what is what, right? You just put in front of Buddy, and though it is impractical, I'm so embarrassed to tell this example, but that's the simplest I'm getting in my mind right now. So Buddy starts to examine each toy in the basket, and through sniffing, pawing, or inspecting, right, he doesn't have any guidance or label to tell what toy is called, and ultimately, Buddy succeeds in discovering the patterns and through similarities and differences between the toys, and Buddy is too smart. He might group together the toys, right? So, what I am ultimately trying to tell you through this funny example is that unsupervised learning contains algorithms which analyze data without explicit label or guidance. Real world example could be you have customers, and you know why unsupervised learning. Before I tell this real world examples, so in real world it is really difficult, and you need so many resources to label data, right? So when you are providing training examples, and along with the label you need resources, so there is so much of data lying around without labels, right? And one problem could be there you have so many customers and you want to segment them into different zones, or maybe based on because you want to drive your marketing strategy based on the different patterns in customers. Maybe it could be divided on the base of age group or income group or something like that. Similarly, the problem which we did uh, for new the problem which we talked about categorizing news, right? So we might not be having initial training data where news is categorized, right? We just have dump of news, and these unsupervised algos can identify the pattern and just dump it right into various groups. And then we can have a social net places like social networking groups on Facebook, where we want to find like-minded people and drive again our advertisements. So these are some examples. Let's also have a look at the kind of data. So let's say this is example of another data set from some superstore in United Kingdom, and what we have is these data is available, but we do not have any label to tag a customer, right, into particular high earning or recent customer or most engaged customer, something like that. But based on invoice date, based on the pattern of buying of customer, how much that person is purchasing, okay, and how frequently, we can segment the customers into different uh, groups, and then we can target the marketing strategy. So that's one example of unsupervised learning. And ultimate goal is to group the given data in based on different patterns into various clusters, which we can have any number of cluster, and that's another story how to define how many clusters we need, but that's the gist. In this tutorial we talked about machine learning, and I hope I was able to deliver the essence of machine learning, and we really need to dive deep into this to understand different algos and how the whole process works. And this was just a very tip of iceberg to let you know what is machine learning all about, understanding the patterns and predicting and taking actions. So let's stay tuned and let's get started.